Welcome back guys to another video. In this one, we'll be talking about the captain of the Blood Angels 3rd Company, Erasmus Tycho, who was being groomed as Commander Dante's successor. So let's do this. When Tycho assumed command of the Blood Angels 3rd Company during the Second War for Armageddon, his stars seemed truly on the rise. Tycho led his battle brothers in a series of lightning-fast assaults that Sobos Graga's speed freaks routed, the defenses along the river Charon recaptured, and Orc supply lines sundered at half a dozen key points. For a time, it seemed Tycho and his warriors might turn the tide of the Armageddon conflict almost single-handed. Then during a raid on an Orc position, Tycho's command was ambushed. Though they prevailed, Tycho himself was maimed by a brutal psychic assault from a green-skinned weird boy. He survived, but with one side of his face frozen in an ugly rictus grin. The damage was concealed using a golden death mask, yet the deeper hurt remained. Tycho was left with inner scars of bitterness and rage. From then on, Tycho continued to wear the gold mask that covered the damaged half of his face. After the Second War for Armageddon, it swiftly became apparent that all was not well with Erasmus Tycho. Commander Dante reluctantly assigned Tycho to permanent battle duty, yet even then he showed a violent temper and his tactics became bold to the point of recklessness. When the Orc warlord Gazkal Mag Uruk Thraka returned to Armageddon during the Third War for Armageddon, and Tycho revisited the world that had seen him mutilated 50 standard years before, his mind snapped. Lost in the depths of the Black Rage, the captain took his place in the Death Company. Tycho and the newly formed Death Company led the attacks on the Orc-held defenses of Hive Tempestora, wreaking havoc and carnage alike. Tycho fought with the same fury and skill as his Primarch, sustaining many grievous wounds in the battle. Tycho reached the Orc lines, his golden mask hanging from his head where it had been torn off of his face, and had begun his vengeful charge against the Orcs when he was overrun by a horde of the Greenskins, finally perishing. Tycho's valiant efforts to destroy the Orcs did not end in vain. His counterattack enabled the Blood Angels and Astra Militarum forces to gain control of the bulwarks. In death, he found redemption, his twisted face settling into an image of serenity. It is whispered in the halls of the Apothecarian that when his half-mask was removed during the funeral rites, not a single hint of disfigurement could be found. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this, then surely you will enjoy this video about Horus Lobrikal, the Arch-Traitor, saving the Emperor's life. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay tuned for more.